what is up and welcome back to my channel. As you guys can see, I am currently in my kitchen, which means this is the very first Get Baked with Jenna video, and I just think that title is so funny, but funny thing is that we're not even baking today. We are actually making my favorite dip ever, and this recipe has actually been in my family for a really long time. It was actually from my mom's side of the family, and we always make this at any family get-together. This dip is just so good, and we just call it taco dip or nacho dip. Sorry if you hear any banging, but Penny is actually down here. There you go. Okay, she don't want to be in the video. So anyways, we're going to get into making this. So these are all of the ingredients here. Obviously you can add ingredients if you want to, putting anything on top that you normally put on your tacos or your nachos. So really you can put anything. I have always had it like this, so this is the way I like it. We have some lettuce, some tomato, and cheese. That is what goes on top of the dip. And then the ingredients for the dip is actually cream cheese, which you need 2 blocks of cream cheese, cottage cheese, which you need 1 tub of cottage cheese, and then also some of the Old El Paso taco seasoning. So I am going to actually get into cutting all of the toppings. I'm going to kind of speed through that because, you know, that is pretty straightforward. And then we will get into making the actual dip. Literally, this is like the easiest recipe ever, but because it is one of my absolute favorites, I really wanted to share it with you guys as my first Get Baked with Jenna. So really excited. Definitely give this video a thumbs up if you guys are excited for more cooking videos. Let's get into this and let's cut up our lettuce, our tomato, and obviously my cheese is already grated, but you can obviously grate your cheese if you'd like. Okay, so with the lettuce, I quickly wanted to mention that you do want a good amount. You just want enough to actually cover the whole pan here. This, I usually have a nicer glass dish to put the dip in, but since I moved out of my parents' house, I don't really have any nice dishes, so I really need to invest in some of those. But for now, we just have a lasagna pan that I purchased from the grocery store. But you just want some sort of rectangular dish of some sort to put the dip in. But for all of the vegetables, you just want a certain amount. Obviously, you can have as much toppings as you want, but you do want enough to cover the entire top. So I tend to do about a cup of each of the ingredients. I don't like tomato a ton, so I do put a little bit in there, but not a lot. So I'm going to quickly cut this up. You just want it to be in little shreds, I guess. So yeah, I'm going to cut this up and I'll be right back. Okay guys, so I am all finished cutting the lettuce, and funny thing, I was actually cutting the lettuce and thinking in my head, oh, I should mention that you should always be careful when using knives and cutting and making sure that you never have your fingers out, that you always have your fingers in as a fist rather than holding it like this. And I cut my finger. Yep. And it's really hurting right now, but I put a Band-Aid on it. I'm good. We're going to move on. I'm quickly going to cut the tomato. Obviously, you can leave the tomato out if you don't like tomatoes. You can put as much or as little as you would like. But what I usually do is I do about half of the tomato. Obviously, like I said, you can do more or less, or just keep it out in general. But for now, that's what I'm going to do. Hopefully, I will never not cut my finger again, because that was a failure. So yeah, I will cut the tomatoes and I'll be right back. I actually forgot to mention that for the tomatoes, you do want them in cubes or bite-sized pieces. Obviously this is a dip, so when you are scooping the chips, which I forgot to say, you do obviously need some chips, which I do have some in my cupboard here. And these are the chips that I've chosen. They are the Tortilla Chips, and they're actually non-salted, organic, which I really like those. They taste so good, and obviously this dip will have a lot of calories in it because it's mainly like cheese. So going for a healthier style of chip will make this a lot better for you. But like I was saying, the tomatoes obviously need to be in bite-sized pieces so that when you scoop up the dip, obviously you will get some of everything. So yes. Okay, so now that I have all of the lettuce and tomato chopped up, I'm going to actually set this aside up here, and we're going to get into actually making the dip, which for one, sometimes we do double batch. So for a double batch, you'd obviously do double of this, but for a normal batch, you do need 2 bricks of the Philadelphia cream cheese. You obviously don't have to use the Philadelphia kind. The like selections or no name brand is totally fine too. It tastes the exact same. And then I also have 1 tub, I believe this is 500 gram tub of cottage cheese. You can use whatever percentage, it doesn't matter. This one is 2%, but I've used 1%. I've actually used like non-fat cottage cheese as well, and it always really ends up pretty much the same. Obviously the consistency will be a little bit different, but it always ends up being a dip consistency. So yeah, we're going to get into doing this. Basically all you do is you take the cream cheese, cut it into cubes, put that in the bowl. We have the cottage cheese, you put that in the bowl, and then you also, like I said, have the taco seasoning, which you put all of that into the blender and you mix it up until it is like a dip consistency, obviously. So, and for the cream cheese, it is really nice to have it at room temperature. This has been sitting out for a few hours now since I got home from the grocery store, and it's better to do that just so when you go to mix the dip, the cream cheese isn't really hard and it's easier to mix. Okay, so now that I have the cottage cheese and the cream cheese in the KitchenAid, so I like to cream this together first and then add the taco seasoning. So we are going to do that and just slowly mix this in. Going to put this on slow speed and add in the taco seasoning slowly. And then once all of the taco seasoning is in, you can mix it on a higher speed until everything is just really nice and smooth. Okay, so now that it is all mixed together, I'm going to just scrape off all of this. Most of the time I like to lick this off because this dip, seriously, like honestly, I could just, honestly, I could totally just eat this dip just like this, not even put the toppings on because this stuff is so good. And if you have watched a lot of my videos, you know that I do really like my cheese, but we are going to add all of the toppings because it is really good. Okay, so this is what the dip ends up looking like. It's a little bit of like a light orange color, and we are actually just going to scrape this into our pan, and obviously this is not going in the oven or anything, it's just a dip, so obviously Jenna. So you don't have to grease it or anything, but for now, I'm going to attempt to do this myself. If you do have a partner, it's really nice for them to help out because this is going to be difficult. Okay, so now that it is all scraped out of the bowl, that would be a good time to like lick that clean, but I will save that for later. We are just going to flatten the dip out and try to make it as even as possible. All done flattening that out. It's definitely not my best work, but we're gonna deal with it. Obviously, if you're trying to, you know, have a really nice presentation, I would clean it up a little bit, but we're going for a little bit more of a rustic approach with this one. So next up, I'm actually going to do the vegetables first. I don't know, really, you could do it anyway. You could put the cheese on first, you could put the lettuce and tomato on first, whatever you want, but I think I'm going to do the lettuce first, and you're just going to put that on as even as possible. Like I said, you can put as much or as little toppings as you want. If you want more of like the dip to really shine, then don't put as much toppings on. But if you want some more flavor there, then definitely go crazy. Put anything you want. Olives, sardines, who knows. You could even put like bacon in this. That would be really good because, you know, you can just put bacon on anything really and it'll be good. So yes, so all of the lettuce is on. We're gonna add a little bit of tomato. Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of tomato, so. Okay, so that is all the tomatoes that I'm going to put on. Obviously, I have a little bit more left, but we're going to leave those. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the cheese on top, which is the best part. So what I just have Cracker Barrel, mozzarella, and cheddar. Obviously, you can put like Tex-Mex. You can put any kind of cheese you want on here. I think my sister actually says that she uses what is it called? Cracker Barrel Tex-Mex, which pairs really nicely with this because it is like a Mexican-inspired dish. But I'm going to use this because this is what I had. So we're going to just sprinkle that on. You can put as much cheese as you like. I like a lot, just personal preference. And that is the dip. That is pretty much it, guys. That is the easiest recipe ever. But I still wanted to share with you guys because it is seriously the best thing. Like, literally, sometimes my family would actually just make this and eat it for dinner. I remember as a child sitting in our living room, like watching a movie with this dip, and we all just ate it together. It was just so nice. So there's definitely a little bit of like memories behind this recipe. That is the taco dip there, and I'm so excited to try this. Okay, so my camera overheated, but I'm not sure what you guys saw there, but we are going to try this dip. I'm so excited, you have no idea. It's so good! Okay guys, so that was everything for this episode of Getting Baked with Jenna. I hope you enjoyed. Give this video a thumbs up if you did, and definitely subscribe if you enjoy this type of video. I also do a ton of other videos. Definitely subscribe, and I hope you guys had a wonderful time with me here in my kitchen, and I will see you in another video. Bye guys!
Before you came round, my heart would never beat much faster. Before you came round, I was ready to slow down. Before you came round.